I can hardly imagine anything sadder than a family member begging a company not to do something with the memory of their grandpa. And yet that is what is happening with the Disney family. While there are a few members of that family who are supportive of Disney turning Walt into a robot inside their parks, Walt's daughter had defended his memory. Now his granddaughter is trying to say to Mr. Iger, please, don't turn Grandpa into a robot. Folks, it's the strangest intro I think I've ever recorded, but we did, and you just listened to it. It's true. The Walt Disney Company seems absolutely devoted to the idea of disrespecting the desires and the wishes of those closest to Walt. His daughter, his granddaughter, who have said, please, this is not what our father and our grandpa would have wanted. Walt did not want to be an animatronic. Folks, Disney is devoted, though, to disrespecting them and what they want and the wishes of Walt. It's a horrible situation. Today we'll explain why and what is the difference between having a Walt animatronic and a Lincoln animatronic, for example. And I think after you listen to this video and listen to the people on the panel, you might understand why Disney should not do this. It's actually depraved. We'll explain right now. This is Out of That Park Place, written by Marvin Montanaro. Who's that guy?
I hear he's a handsome devil.
Well, we're going to talk about some devils in this article. Walt Disney's granddaughter begs Disney to stop developing Walt animatronic. And also, folks, check out this handsome mug over here, Valiant Renegade, putting Hollywood through the business lens. Huge financial supporter of that park place, and we appreciate Valiant as always. Disney Parks head Josh DeMauro, fire him, was all smiles, fire him, as he unveiled plans to develop a lifelike audio animatronic of company founder Walt Disney, essentially bringing Uncle Walt back to life as a puppet the company can control. The throngs of onlookers in the arena applauded and screamed with joy. Walt's great-nephew Roy P. Disney was also in attendance, voicing his support of the project. However, not every member of the Disney family or extended family is on board with this move. Walt's granddaughter, Joanna Miller, the daughter of Walt's daughter Diane Disney, voiced her thoughts on social media for the world to see. She's not happy. And by the way, she is voicing what her mother had voiced. This is coming from those who were the dearest and closest to Walt. This is what they want. And Disney apparently does not care about their wishes. We'll explain why this matters in just a moment. I'll explain the difference in this and other animatronics, such as the Lincoln animatronic. Joanna Miller, and by the way, thank you to Josh Harris for putting this out for the world to see, and did quite a deed there in doing so. Joanna Miller, everyone, please stop the madness. Do not let them turn Grandpa into a robot. My mom tried to stop this years ago, and they respected her wishes. There is plenty of film so people can see him and hear him talk. He has told you everything on TV show lead-ins and specials. Everyone who stepped forward when Uncle Robert's house was going to be destroyed, you did it. Thank you. We have that protected because of all of you. Please help protect the memory and legacy of Grandpa. All right, so let's talk about the difference in this and Lincoln, for example. So the difference in this and Lincoln is that Lincoln was never videoed. Lincoln, there is no audio recording of his voice. And so having someone like Lincoln, or like the presidents, for example, having them be animatronics does not create an uncanny valley effect, and it does not step on the historical remembrance of their personhoods, their what do you say, visage, or visage, if you want to say it the right French way. So what this does with Walt, though, is it takes Walt and it turns him into literally a puppet of this corporation that no longer appreciates anything that he did. They vehemently despise his legacy, and they can now control him. It is utterly inappropriate. Furthermore, by taking Walt and sticking him back into the park he built, but he no longer walks around live and living and interacting with guests, but rather is now the corporate arm, the spokesman or spokesrobot of Bob Iger. By doing that, you also present these challenges like we talked about earlier. How creepy and disgusting is it going to be when Walt malfunctions on stage? For example, when Walt loses a hand, when Walt has a leak, or when the programming goes awry. How weird is it going to be to have Walt with one eye open and one eye closed? It's the stuff of nightmares. It's morbid. It is macabre. And anyone with a working brain could be able to think forward on this and say, this is not a good idea. Why don't we use video of Walt instead? That's not what they want to do, though, because these people have no boundaries or parameters within which they can find the ethical way to interact inside their company. Panel, am I wrong on any of this?
No, you're not wrong. They're going to turn Walt the weekend at Bernie's, pretty much is what they're doing here. And it's disgusting.
While the granddaughter echoes what her mother said, please don't turn Grandpa into a robot. You talk about some kind of sinister evil that the company is like, no, we will turn Grandpa into a robot and he will act. He will act for peanuts. He will do whatever we tell for the crowd. And they'll clap and they'll cheer and they'll applaud.
The way she wrote it, Grandpa, too. Like, it broke my heart to see her say that.
Yeah. I'm going to point out that this is one that they already have permits for. This is one that, while a lot of other things are blue sky that they're pretending is in whatever active development means, this one is actually very close and is probably on the schedule somewhere. So this is not the same thing as when they say that they're going to start on Villain's Land or that they've already started. This one is actually real.
I think the most disgusting thing about this is the way Josh D'Amaro pointed out Roy P. Disney in the crowd as he was doing this to shield himself from this kind of backlash. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if somebody were desecrating my grandfather's legacy and my cousin's son was the one saying they can do it and I'm saying you can't do it, that's going to really cheese me off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine, folks out there in the audience? Just think about this. Think about you have a beloved grandfather that you have wonderful memories of, and someone is going to make a robot version of them and have them perform, on cycle all day, every day with their voice, but it may not be authentic to what your grandparent believed. It's plenty off-putting enough to have grandpa or grandma brought back from the dead as a robot. If you think that's not a PR disaster, I mean, what is wrong with Disney? Maybe the people in charge of Disney are the robots. Maybe they have something, a screw loose inside their heads. Because this plays into every kind of crazy, weird conspiracy theory you've ever heard of, right? This is just bonkers stupid.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then I completely lost my train of thought. I had a good point to make.
Sorry, I stepped on you, Marvin. I do apologize.
Okay.
No, I don't necessarily see this as that surprising. They have already done sort of something similar with this when they had that AI Walt in front of the the Philadelphia
the effeminate Walt, Vash.
Right? Yeah, he was. He didn't have necessarily the mannerisms I remember seeing from Uncle Walt there in those in that old documentary footage. But yes, so for the 100th anniversary, they generated an AI Walt to introduce the 100th anniversary exhibit out there in Florida.
Vash, you think Uncle Walt I hate to interrupt you, but this is too good. Vash, you think Uncle Walt in June could wear a rainbow tie, maybe?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could have him do whatever you wanted, right? I mean, I think somebody in the chat said, "Hey, if Walt says, oh, Disneyland will never be complete," Bob Iger says, "See, he supports all of our changes."
Right?
You could. I mean, there are no bounds.
They can put the images of new construction behind him for things where they're going to destroy his stuff, and then he can say the line, "Disney will never be complete as long as and therefore, and it's not cheating, right? It's his voice, it's his recording, but they can use it to mean something he never would have ever supported."
I remember what I was going to say now. The sinister nature of this, in that they were going to do it, and Diane Disney begged them not to, and they listened to her and waited for her to be 9 years dead,
right,
before going back to it to say that they were just waiting her out to just do this anyway. That's so sinister, so evil, so heartless. I cannot believe it's actually happening.
Can you imagine, Marvin, if she had begged and they had said, "We'll wait till you're in the ground, and then we'll make you a robot with him." And it wouldn't surprise me in 10 or 15 years if she's a robot up there agreeing with her, with her father. I mean, just get some clips, Disney. Go for it. You're good with this, right? Dark. Turn them all into robots, everybody. Where's a Jim Henson robot? We need a Jim Henson robot. Get him up on the thing. He needs to agree with the destruction of Muppet Vision. He can give some clip while they destroy it.
There have already been discussions about a Jim Henson animatronic and a Stan Lee animatronic. You know they're working on that. They're waiting for an heir to be on hard times, and they're just going to go for it. Or they're going to, quote unquote, recreate a scene that they have the rights to. They're just waiting for their chance.
And folks, we've come to the end of yet another conversation, the types of which you will not hear anywhere else. Why? Because we don't care about receiving special cupcakes or drinks named after us. No, we don't need your little VIP moments, Disney. We get it all the same. We'll go in the turnstiles like everybody else, because we believe that telling the truth matters far more than whatever it is you have to give us like you do to the shills. We don't want it. Folks, what we do want to do is tell you the truth. And the only thing we ask in respect of doing so, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms, hit the notification bell, drop a comment down below, let us know your thoughts, and help us continue to do what we do. It's all for you. All right, folks, we'll see you real soon. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.